Thank you. Imagine that you're sitting in the audience at a performance, and one of the people on stage just blows you away. Watching them, you think, wow, that person is really talented. Talent makes a powerful impression on us. We feel a sense of awe that we got the chance to witness what a talented person can do. It's as though we came into contact with something truly sublime, the pinnacle of human achievement. Well, I'm here to tell you that we've all been sold 3 lies about talent. The first lie is that talent is a rare gift for the exceptional few. The truth is that we all have one or more talents. We just might not have discovered them yet. It took my sister until her 60s to discover her talent for writing poetry and flash fiction. Today, she has more than 24 publications to her credit. The second lie is that talented people are born with exceptional abilities and don't have to work on them. The truth is that we nurture talent through many, many hours of hard work and practice. My friend Charlotte spends an hour every morning at her easel, honing her talent for painting with watercolors. The third lie is that talent refers only to artistic ability. The truth is that there are many kinds of talents. My friend Tom is a talented conversationalist. My friend Ed's talents are gardening and telling stories. So the question becomes, if it's true that we all have one or more talents of many kinds that we develop through hard work, well then, how do we discover and unleash our talents? This is where I come in. I am a talent whisperer. I have been helping people to discover, grow, and show their talents for decades. For the last 20 years or so, I have been a talent whisperer for hundreds of people who have been told again and again that they don't have talent and never will. People with disabilities. And guess what? Every single person I have worked with has unearthed one or more talents. You see, talent requires authenticity. We can discover, grow, and show our talents only when we are truly embodying our authentic selves, when we are unapologetically being exactly who we are, without holding back, without second-guessing, without fear. For psychologist Abraham Maslow, authenticity was crucial for self-actualization. Maslow saw self-actualization as the pursuit of realizing one's full potential. In his words, the desire to become more and more what one is, to become everything one is capable of becoming. This is a vulnerable act. It takes great courage to know who we are and stand firmly in the essence of ourselves. The rewards are great, but the risks are great too. That's why we need the support of a talent whisperer. I started out as a talent whisperer for myself. When I was growing up, as is often the case with a lot of young people, I didn't really have a strong sense of who I am. I remember spending hours poring over books about astrology and numerology, handwriting analysis, birth order theory, anything I could get my hands on that could help me figure out my authentic self. I was struggling to create a conception of myself, but the books couldn't give me what I so desperately wanted. Being able to say that I'm a left-handed, Virgo with Gemini rising, mesomorph, youngest child, only got me so far. I had a bunch of new vocabulary, but I wasn't any closer to understanding my authentic self. Fast forward to when I was in graduate school. These were the years where I truly came to know and appreciate and dwell in my authenticity. During that time, I started to develop and use a set of tools that I have since come to refer to as the Talent Whisperer's Toolbox. The first tool is what I like to call hit by a train moments. A hit by a train moment happens when our wordless gut instincts are very strongly, very suddenly activated. One of my hit by a train moments from graduate school happened the very, very first time I heard Jewish songs sung in Yiddish. I couldn't speak the language and I didn't know the melodies, but something in that music connected with me deep in my soul. I got the instinctual message, this is part of you. Thanks to that moment, I discovered and developed my talent for singing in Yiddish, and I learned a lot about my connection to secular Jewish culture. As a talent whisperer, I encourage other people to remember and trust their hit by a train moments because they often provide powerful gateways into our authentic selves and our talents. The second tool is what Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, a psychologist, calls flow experiences. Flow experiences are those occasions when we are so deeply absorbed in an activity that we lose track of time. We are performing at our very best without self-consciousness. When I was in graduate school, I actually had a lot of flow experiences, and they all had one thing in common. I was teaching at the time. I was firing on all cylinders. Everything felt natural and easy and joyful. Those experiences remain part of my teaching today, and they revealed my talent as an educator. As a talent whisperer, I encourage other people to recall and examine their flow experiences because they often provide clues into our talents. The third tool comes in the form of a question. What did you used to love to do when you were a young child? When we are young children, we choose to engage in activities for no reason other than that they're fun and they make us happy. We enact our joy for its own sake. When I was a little girl, I used to love to make up stories and songs and tell them and sing them out loud. Remembering that put me in touch with some of the joyful aspects of my authentic self. It also revealed my talents for communication and creative expression. The final tool is more of a set of guiding principles for talent whispering. I like to call it the talent whisperer's secret sauce. As I said before, coming to know and dwell in our authenticity is a vulnerable act that requires courage. It also requires support, an asset-based environment where people feel valued and affirmed. Creating that environment is the talent whisperer's secret sauce, and it all comes down to 3 key ingredients. First, the talent whisperer must believe to their very core that every single person possesses gifts to discover and talents to explore. This means believing in the potential of every person and never, ever giving up on them or placing limits on them. Second, the talent whisperer must treat other people in ways that express genuine admiration and curiosity. This means believing in the awesomeness behind every person and wanting to know them better. And finally, the talent whisperer must interact with other people in ways that make them feel affirmed and validated. This means being fully present, listening without judgment, and honoring and celebrating the other person's unique perspective and contributions. My friend Julie recently introduced me to her son, who is applying to colleges. Over pizza, we talked about his hopes for the future. I asked him some questions and gave him some pointers about the college application process. Later that night, Julie asked her son how the conversation with me had gone. He said that he had never felt seen so deeply on so many levels by someone he had just met. He said that he felt that he and I connected in ways he never had with anybody else. These are the markings of the secret sauce of the talent whisperer, creating the conditions for other people to feel seen and heard, loud and proud as the unique, awesome, talented individuals that they are. I spend a lot of time with people with disabilities. These are people who hear a lot of no. No when it comes to opportunities. No when it comes to accessibility. No when it comes to inclusion. And no when it comes to talent. I refuse to take no for an answer. For me, it is always about yes. Yes, you can. Yes, you will. Yes, I care about you. Yes, you are valuable. And yes, we will find a way that works for you. More than 325 people with disabilities participate in my Institute's arts education programs every week. Though they might come to us to learn and create in the arts, what they find when they're with us is that they are accepted for who they are, which enables them to embrace their authenticity and discover their talents, artistic and otherwise. I'll never forget a bashful 12-year-old autistic girl who came to us a bunch of years ago for private voice lessons. She was extremely anxious and she lacked confidence. I made sure that every interaction we had was about yes, you can. Yes, you can sing. Yes, you can learn. Yes, you can get up on that stage and people want to hear what you have to say. On the day of her last recital with us, she was heading off to college, she gave me a card that said, "Dear Dr. Bernard, thank you for changing my life." She and I have stayed in touch over the years, and I'm very happy to report that she is now a 20-something college graduate, musician, French language interpreter, youth group leader, and music educator. One of our participants recently wrote and arranged an original song where he contrasted what it feels like when he's bullied at school with what it feels like to him when he's with us, where he's accepted for who he really is. If you were to meet him on a Saturday, you would encounter an enthusiastic leader who is always up for something new. In addition to music, he has discovered that he has talents that include advocating for himself and others, proofreading, and solving logistical problems. So, to recap, the Talent Whisperer's Toolbox contains hit by a train moments, flow experiences, what did you love to do as a young child, and the secret sauce, creating the conditions for other people to feel affirmed and validated. Now, I don't want to give you the impression that the process of coming to know and dwell in our authenticity and discover, unleash, and grow our talents is an easy process. It's not. If it were easy, we'd all be doing it. And if it were easy, there'd be no need for the talent whisperer or the toolbox. The fact of the matter is that this process often requires quite a bit of time, of effort, of reflection, and of support. So much so that most people don't consider themselves to be talented because they haven't yet learned how talented they truly are. So far, I've talked a lot about individual people and how they've come to embrace their authenticity and unleash their talents. But what if we took this process and applied it to groups of people? So instead of an individual striving for self-actualization, we would have a group striving to actualize. And then imagine that the groups get larger and larger and larger, and dare I say it, we could be talking about the actualization of the human race. The Talent Whisperer's Toolbox could change the world. I'd like to invite you to join me on my mission to change the world with the Talent Whisperer's Toolbox. Imagine a world where every single person knows and embraces their authenticity. Imagine a world where every single person discovers, grows, and unleashes their talents. Imagine a world where every single person is striving towards self-actualization. A world where, to paraphrase Maslow, we are all becoming everything we are capable of becoming. I believe that we have the power to do just that. In fact, I know we can. Thank you.